Andrew Weissman, another piece of reporting that has come out of NBC News is as disastrous as this call appears to have been for Donald Trump and potentially exposing him criminally. He tried really, really hard to have it. NBC News is reporting that this was the 18th, or there were 18 previous attempts by Trump to speak with Raffensperger. What does that say to you? And we have this tape because this official didn't plan to bend to Trump. We don't know of any that do, but it wouldn't have changed the electoral vote count. So what do you think when you hear that there were 18 tries to talk to him? Is this what Trump has been doing since his election loss?
So I think two things. One, as an investigator, your antenna go up and you say, I want to know who else he put the arm on. Who else did he do this with?
Yeah.
If he was so insistent of doing this with Georgia, and this state alone would not give him the election. So that says that. The second is that insistence is somewhat reflected on the call. If you listen to the other participants on the White House side, they all seem very uncomfortable, and they're constantly trying to shift away from what the president is saying to things that are much more procedural, like, oh, we just want access. We're not saying anything was unfair. I mean, there's a huge disconnect between what are sort of, I think, good faith requests by some White House lawyers and what you have the president doing. And as I mentioned, I think that is a really damning fact. And on the other side, I think what's so sad is what you see here is somebody who's acting by way of principle. In other words, you have Democrats and Republicans who are willing to just act because it's the right thing to do and they believe in democracy. And what's so shocking is that we've come to that point in the world where this is something that we call out as noble when it should be expected of everyone. You and I have served in administrations, and we all understand policy differences, but this idea that people would still act out of principle and they wouldn't seek to undermine an election, they wouldn't make calls to Ukraine, they wouldn't have the same calls they had to Bob Woodward, they wouldn't try to pardon criminals, corrupt politicians, and murderers. I mean, all of this disrespect for principle, where you really are sort of seeing might makes right on one side of the call, and you're seeing somebody acting out of true convictions as a American first rather than a Democrat or a Republican.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.